Hi there, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to use these lovely moulds, these lovely chameleon powders, which we're going to apply using a paintbrush, just regular paintbrushes. And here we go for a bit more of a closer look at these moulds. Now, these are some moulds that we got from Temu recently. Look at the beautiful ballet dancers, a bauble mould with a mouse head shaped mould, and also I'm not sure what shape you'd call that mould in the middle, but they've got some detail on them. Now the chameleon powders, there's lots in this box of loveliness, and just showing you the different colours here that they have in them. Now I wasn't 100% certain at this point what colours to use. I know I wanted just to concentrate on using two colours and to see how they'd whether or not they'd adhere to the mould in the way I wanted them to do, what sort of effect they gave, what sort of colour shift and so on. But just having a bit more of a closer look at this mould for the ballet dancer. Now, these are small moulds, so your resin that you use does have to be quite liquid, preferably not too thick. I think the resin we used was a little bit thick, but having said that, I've now made my decision on what colour chameleon powder I'm going to use. So you can see the lids there. Look at the difference in colour. I was amazed at this, especially that one. But yeah, anyway, so we're going to continue on now. And we're going to apply the chameleon powder to the mould just using a dry paintbrush. We're just using the stuff up that's in the lid, and then putting it into the mould. Now this section has been sped up because you don't need to sit and watch me do this for a few minutes. We're just literally brushing it onto the surface of the mould. Now I'm not sure at this point whether or not this is going to be a shiny mould or if it's a matte mould. We'll see when we demould the finished cured piece. But just making sure that I'm using a fine enough brush, a thin enough brush, to get down into all those details, particularly into the fingers on the ends of the hands there, into all the parts within the head, the beautiful tutu skirt and bodice, and of course all the way down to the lovely ballet shoes on the ends of her feet. But I was actually amazed at how much detail there is in these moulds, considering they are the size that they are. But wouldn't they be lovely in a little girl's bedroom? Absolutely gorgeous. Or even as maybe a gender reveal present if they're having a little girl as a baby shower, traditional sort of gift. Obviously you can give them it as a little boy as well, you know, up to you. So that was the first one done in that colour. Now we've got this beautiful sort of, I want to call it like a bluish, mauvish, reddish colour. It's amazing the colour shift with these. They really are chameleon. You know, the name on the box is exactly how they behave. Some of these powders I like more than others. As you can see, I'm making a bit of a mess here. And I do go back and just clean up the moulds as well before I put the resin in, which is a good idea to do if you're me, because you can see more clearly where you need to put the resin or where the resin's gone. So just finishing there, applying the chameleon powder to the mould. And it looks like, at first glances, it's taken really well. You've even got the detail of the ribbon round the ankles from the ballet shoes. Beautiful. So I did turn these two moulds over and just gave them a light tap there to get rid of any of the excess powder. As you can see there, look at them. If they come out, I mean, I know I've done this. This is, you know, voiceover Laura, and commenting on something that I've already seen the end result of, and they are truly stunning, to the point, in fact, where we did go back and make them in all the other colours of the powders. So all I'm doing, cleaning up the mould here, rubbing over just a wet wipe. You can use a bit of kitchen roll with some isopropyl alcohol if you want as well. So just repeating that process, same thing with these other two moulds. Now these I wasn't as hopeful for. There is a lot of very fine detail with snowflake scroll work and so on, and I didn't think the snowflakes would work, and spoiler alert, the snowflakey bits didn't. Plus, unfortunately, the one that's in the shape of the ears on the right there, that I haven't used the chameleon powder on yet. I actually throw it away. I can't believe I'm saying this. I do actually throw it away because it's not usable. The biggest snowflake there on the bottom right hand corner of the shape, in the shape of the mold, it's just not right. It doesn't connect with the rest of the resin in the piece, so you end up with a rather large hole. So I think going forward, obviously I'm not going to throw the mould away. I will just snip off a little bit or remove a little bit of that where the snowflake attaches to the outside of that mould, of the shape of the mould, and try again then and see if it works. Then it all connects nicely. So I think that's what we're going to do, because it would be great if we could use it. So here's the other mould. Now I'm not sure on the proper term for the shape of this mould. If you know what it is, then why not pop it in the comments for us. And I'm just using the same two colours as I've used all the way through so far and applying it. Look at that, you've got a rusty red colour, browns, golds, hints of violets, blues, real colour shift this one, a real chameleon effect to this powder. Again, this has got quite a bit of detail in, so I wasn't sure how much was going to get picked up, how much wasn't. But you know, we'll try this. There's a lot of things that we'll try and do, and we'll see what happens. And if they work, great. If they don't work, we learn from it. And if we really don't think they're going to work again, no matter what we change or try, then, you know, we won't pursue it. But yeah, so as usual, everything that we're using in the mould and demonstrating for you today will be linked in the description box down below. As I said, the majority of this is from Temu. We don't have a current code that you use for Temu, but they offer so many discounts anyway off of everything on their site. That everything, you know, it's usually a good bargain anyway. The only thing I would say is make sure you read the description thoroughly, and that you check the measurements that they give, so that you do get what you've ordered. You don't end up thinking something's going to come through and it's 10 centimeters bit, you know, in size, and it's actually 2 centimeters in size. Anyway, moving on. So we've mixed up some Tea Expert resin. That's the current brand that we're using. It's 1:1 mixing ratio. It's nice and clear, and I'm just decanting it into these two little cups here, which I did. We normally use little silicone mixing cups, but all the ones, I can't find them. We've had a bit of a tidy up of various things, and I can't currently find those. So I'm having to use these single use, which is not something that we would normally use or like using, because we tend to steer away from single use plastics. But, you know, these do get recycled. We do put them out for recycling. So we just used these are little coffee stir sticks to put the chameleon mica powder in, and here I am getting in a right royal mess. As you can see, good job I wear gloves. Also, little thing to point out there, make sure that you take all the appropriate PPE precautions and you wear what you're supposed to wear. Gloves. You can see I'm wearing sleeve protectors. That's that little bit of blue near my wrist on my left hand. They're sleeve protectors. They unfortunately do make your arms sweat a bit, but they protect you. Make sure that you work in a well-ventilated area and that you wear a respirator mask too. Right, so all that little bit of safety precaution and so on out of the way. Very carefully filling this ballerina mould, and I've opted to use this coffee stir stick to do it. So just gently go as you go. It has been sped up a bit. I did take my time doing this, and then took a micro brush. I love these micro brushes. And just went very carefully in the mould, just persuading, because I was very concerned that some of the resin wasn't going to exactly where I wanted it to be, and just teasing it down to the bottom of the ballet dancer's legs there, down to where her ballet shoes are, and really just making sure there's no air bubbles trapped. Now, did exactly the same sort of process with both of these shapes in this mould. And with this one, I gave up trying to get it into all those little nooks and crannies of the mould, of the detail. So I just put it on and then I smoothed it over. And I did exactly the same sort of process with the head and ear shaped one on the right. Definitely need to find a solution for that particular little mould there. Definitely. Because it would look great, whether you have it as a hanging decoration from your tree, as a decoration as part of a garland, or whether you use it as a key ring or a handbag charm. Now, I've got some more some more, oh, I tipped all of it in. We've got some more resin there, because I want to fill up the biggest mould here. And I added in quite a lot of white, what I thought was holographic glitter, but looking at it, it's not. So I decided to add in some more of my favourite glitter, which is a different type. I refer to it as the Magic #1 glitter. It's just a holographic glitter. So you put it in, it sort of dissolves or turns it milky. And then can you see all those little pops of colour that you get? The real holographic effect. So poured it in, let it find its level, and then just persuaded it up round the top there, which is where you have your little loop for putting your ribbon or cord or string through to actually suspend them from your tree. Now, this is a full 24 hours later. Yes, I waited 24 hours. I'm impatient, but I did wait the 24 hours. So just peeling it away from the mould. Now, where we've got all the detail, it felt like it was sticking a bit. So I wasn't sure how much would work. And as you can see, we've still got some of the chameleon powder in there, but look at this. I needn't have worried. Look at the colour shift there. They're beautiful. Now you can leave it just like that. You could decorate around the edges, the outside of it, with some of the Deco Colour pen perhaps, or gilding paint. Totally up to you. Now, here we go. This is the disaster. I did think about cutting this out of the video, but I thought, no, I'll leave it in. See what you can see what I mean. So here we go. This is the one with the big chunk missing. Oh, yeah. Such a shame. Such a shame there. That's the little bit that got left behind in the mould. It got left behind because it doesn't connect to any other bit of the mould, which is a real shame. So we need to sort that out. We will sort that out. And then get this so that it looks great, because that would make a lovely decoration. So this is the other one. So just carefully teasing it out. Now these were still, I was surprised, even after 24 hours, this one was still quite soft. So just carefully and easily does it. I don't usually like pulling things out of a mould. I like the mould to come away from the project or from what you've made, not the other way round. But with this one, I didn't have a lot of option. So as you can see, it's bent slightly because, believe it or not, it was still a little bit pliable. So just reshaped it, flattened it out, and then decided what to do. Now, that's a matte mould. So the side that you want to use is not going to be shiny. Although you could use it either way around, totally up to you, I suppose. But yeah. So here we go with the ballet dancers. We've got a little bit of overspill, overpour there, as you can see. And can you see what I'm doing? I'm pulling the mould away from the ballet dancer so that she comes out okay. Take extra special care with the ends of the fingers and of the slippers, or the ballet shoes. But that's beautiful. And here we go with the other one. So just pulling it apart. There we are. So it releases from your cured resin piece. Look at that. The detail is just stunning. And as I said, those will make lovely keyring charms or handbag charms and so on. Now, we just go around the edges of this piece, this bauble, with a deburring tool. You can use a emery board or a bit of sandpaper, fine grade sandpaper, just taking off all the little bits of overspill or overpour and any little rough sharp edges, because obviously you don't want anybody getting injured when they're handling it. Now here's a little bit, that was a spoiler alert there, that was a bit of a show. I'm going to use the metallic paints I showed you just now, and I'm gonna try and enhance some of the detail. Now we've done this on those frames that I showed you, and I think that video is possibly coming out after this one. So, don't forget, if you haven't not already subscribed, why not subscribe to our channel? Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and then you'll see all of our videos that we've got. We upload 3 times a week on a Wednesday, a Friday and a Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time. There you go. Sometimes we take part in collaborations as well, so you'll see those. But yeah, usually how-to style videos will show you warts and all. So in other words, things that go right and things that don't go right. Why not join us in the live chat for when it premieres, and we will have a chat and talk about all things crafting, and also perhaps what's going on in the video, and if you've got any questions for us. It's usually myself and Wayne. Wayne is my partner in life as well as for this channel. He is also one of the creators here at Lottie Jasmine Design. You'll know him because he has black sparkly nail polish. I'm not joking. You wait, I'm very envious of that. And then we've also got Hugo. Hugo is our son, and he does all the audio and video editing for us, audio visual editing for us, sorry, and our social media posts. So there we go. We are also on Facebook and Instagram, so you can also follow us there, and we upload sometimes some sneak peeks and pictures of things that we're currently working on that perhaps you might not see for a couple of weeks as part of a creation video. But what you can see me doing here is just picking out some of the details using that beautiful metallic paint that I thought it needed a little something. I'm also going to try and do something to pretty up this filigree patterned bauble, this flat bauble, and I'm going to use the paint again. Look at that colour. Stunning. These paints are from Temu. They are gorgeous. We have a set of 6, and we've also got some more coming. For those of you who don't know, Temu is it's an online store where you can purchase all things crafting and all things for your household, clothing and so on. We haven't used it for clothing and household items. What we've predominantly used it for is for buying silicone moulds for doing exactly what you can see in front of you. And they've always been very good with us. It's been incredibly reasonable to buy from them. It's been very quick shipping considering where they're coming from to the UK. And yeah, as I say, they're reasonably priced. They're usually very good quality, but do check measurements of things before you order, so then you're not disappointed when they arrive. There we go. We also do some Temu. We've got 2 or 3 Temu haul videos. Why not check out our playlist and go and have a look at those? They've got links to the different things that we've bought as well. Now, when the paint dried on this piece, it still had a matte finish to it. So I thought, do you know what? Let's see if some UV resin's going to sort out the problem for me. Yeah. Usually UV resin, when you put it on things like this, it gives it a glossy finish, which was what I was after. So I've applied a little bit, and then I'm using a micro brush again and just going over where I've applied it, putting it up to the edge but not over the edge of that piece. Now that was quite tricky to do. Warning, UV light coming up. There we go. And then applying this light. Now we need to purchase some new lights because this just wasn't cutting it. We do have a much bigger UV lamp, and I did put it under it for 5 minutes to completely cure it. I then used the UV resin on this larger piece as well, just to the top and bottom, because again it looks a little bit dull, which is a shame really. And then I went over these other pieces, and to be really honest with you, I don't show it, but the big section in the middle and some of the other sections, they needed to have regular resin poured over them. So Wayne had actually got some left over, and he said to me, here you go, why don't you use this? So before I poured that in as well onto this piece, I cured up all the UV resin, which you can see me using there. So I cured all of that, and then I poured in all over the top of this. Certainly in the middle sort of sections and the 2 outer sections, I used some regular resin. There we go. and then I had to leave it to cure again overnight, which for me, because I'm impatient, yeah. But here we go. Here's the finished piece. Now, again, as I said, you can decorate around the outside there with some deco pens if you want to. There's this other piece. Now, I did pour some regular resin over that too. I didn't pour any more resin over these couple of other little ballet dancers that we made. Just a little sneak preview there again. And the thing that we need to do now is put some lovely gold cord through, which is this. And all you're going to do is cut off the length that you want. So measure the length that you want. And then just cut it using some regular scissors like I'm doing there. And I'm going to do this. I think this is called a lark's head knot, but I'm not 100% certain. There we go. And then the very ends here, you put a knot in the very ends. And then I'm going to just secure the very ends of this cord. You can use PVA glue if you want to. You can put a bit of PVA glue on the knot as well. But I just trimmed up the ends there. And you can use PVA glue on the ends if you want, or you can use, a bit of wobbly camera there. Now this is a long necked lighter, and you just touch the very ends of the cord with it. Don't burn yourself when you do that. And it melts them slightly, so it stops them from fraying. Now, this piece, the resin had actually seeped into the middle, so I'm just using some scissors. I mean, I'm just remaking the hole in the top now. Now, be careful when you're doing this that you don't stab yourself with the scissors. You can use a little mini Dremel drill piece if you've got one of those, which we have, but for some reason I decided to use the scissors. It was what I had to hand. And then tried to thread the cord through. Now, as you can see there, I'm using the scissors again to try and push the thread or the cord through. There you go. It's quite thick, this cord, this beautiful cord. There we go. So you can use cord, you could use jute, you could use ribbon, whatever you want to with these. There we go. So just measuring them up, making sure they're the right length, and putting a little knot in the top there, pulling as tight as I can, trimming up the ends, and then just making sure that the ends don't fray by using that long necked lighter. There we are. You can just see them slightly melting, and there we go. Now the ballerina is slightly different. We have these are little eyelet screws. Now, normally we screw them down into things. I didn't want to screw it into her head. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Plus, I was worried that it would disfigure it and it would break it or it would crack. So, decided UV resin to the rescue. And I'm going to put a little dot or a little daub, tiny amount of UV resin on the back of her head. And then do my best to position one of these eyelet screws where I need it to be. Now, this is a bit tricky. This is when you could do with another pair of hands helping. And in the end, I do ask Wayne to give me a hand because I'll drop this and then end up basically using another one. There we go. Now, warning, UV light coming up. So I'm just going to place it into where the UV resin is, and there's Wayne. See what I mean about his nails? Just curing it for me using the UV light. Now, as I said, that lamp isn't really powerful enough, that little torch. So I did end up, after this, putting it through the UV lamp that we have. I threaded the cord through like we've done before. You can see there it's still moving too much, so I ended up curing it a bit longer underneath the main UV lamp we've got, and then I just did exactly what I've done with the others, just melted down the very ends of the cord to stop it from fraying. But that's beautiful. The only other thing I would say possibly is maybe think about using some thinner cord with these so that you can put a little knot there, or just secure it in some way, perhaps a little bit of UV resin or a little bit of glue to glue that top bit together. And here they are, the two beautiful ballet dancers with all that lovely detail on them. The filigree one I'm not overly impressed with, but could do better. And then this one, which is stunning, but unfortunately the camera really doesn't pick up all its beauty. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for sticking with us if you have. Hi to everybody who's joined us in the live chat. Have a good week. Bye.